Welcome, honored guests, family, and friends of Lieutenant Commander Charles. We are here this morning to honor a fellow shipmate and to reflect upon and celebrate his 26 years of dedicated and faithful service to our Navy and our country. Our guest speaker today is Captain Jason Hammond, better known as Reggie. Captain Hammond graduated from the United States Naval Academy in 1993, earning a Bachelor of Science degree in Aerospace Engineering. He subsequently entered flight training and earned his wings in October 1995. Operationally, he distinguished himself in numerous carrier fleet support squadrons flying the C-2A Greyhound. His fleet assignments include the Greyhawks of VAW-120, the Rawhides of VRC-40, and the Providers of VRC-30. He later commanded the Providers of VRC-30. He's completed deployments to the CENTCOM and PACOM areas of responsibility in support of Operation Enduring Freedom and tsunami relief efforts in Indonesia and Thailand. His additional assignments include Executive Assistant to the Director, Joint Capability Development at U.S. Joint Forces Command, Operations Officer aboard USS Carl Vinson, and Future Operations Officer and Global Force Management Officer at the U.S. Pacific Fleet. Please join me in giving a warm welcome to Captain Hammond.
Good morning. Good morning. Can everybody hear me? Okay. It's a beautiful day here aboard the USS CHOSIN. It's truly an honor to be asked to do something like this, to celebrate the 26-year career of a fellow officer, Lieutenant Commander Todd Charles, and all that he has done. It's a true honor. So I just want to thank you, Todd. That's the biggest thing here for me personally, for letting me do this, because it's something else. It really is. Thank you so much. One of the other people I have to thank is Captain Kevin Brand here and the entire crew of the CHOSIN. I never come aboard a ship like this for something like this without being, just inspired by what I see. It doesn't just happen. You hear all that noise right now? That's the yards. So doing something like this is tough. It's really a testament to the fact that these guys are committed to somebody who's a plank owner and want to do this for him. So I want to thank you for taking that effort, and I want to thank you for this ship, because it really is just a symbol of American power and for everything that I believe in, and it's fantastic to be here. I got a confession to make. I've only done one other retirement speech, so it was pretty easy. He was a good friend of mine. I served with him in Japan. He was my maintenance officer. I've got more respect for him than just about anybody I've ever known. He did the standard speech. You're able to talk about hardship, deployments, all the things that he had done in his career and how difficult it was. It's really the center of any good retirement speech. It's just how difficult life's been, right? Well, then I got to Todd. I started looking into his life a little bit, and Todd has 5 older sisters. So I began to realize that there was nothing in the Navy that could have happened to Todd that wasn't easier than what his childhood must have been like. So, it really kind of made writing this speech challenging, because I just figured he'd be like, yeah, that was really not that hard, and I don't know why you're talking about it. So, that's a lot of upper-level guidance to be given for any one human being. So I'm sure you entered the Navy ready for just about anything. But we get to welcome 3 of those sisters here. Carol Axelrod, Lee Murphy, and Lorraine Hill are all here, so that's fantastic. The miracle of technology, we've got some of other family members here via Facebook. We've got his father, Lester Charles, is here today, and that's fantastic. I understood there was some technical things we had to get past to get him here, but that's great. And then your 2 other sisters, it's Joyce and Chris, are also on FaceTime today, so that's fantastic. But again, everybody keep remembering as I talk about his career, 5 older sisters. So it's going to be a central theme here. Maybe the most important people we have to recognize today that are here in the audience are Todd's wife, Denise, and his son, Zachary. Everybody who's been in the Navy understands fully that you can't do this if your family's not supportive. Okay, so what you've done through the years, I don't want to, there's just almost no way to say thank you. So I just want to acknowledge right up front that that's just got to be the biggest, one of the biggest parts of this today. All right, so let's talk about Todd Charles a little bit. I'm going to talk about his career some, but I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time going into everything he ever did. Because that can, I've listened to retirement ceremonies that go on about that, and I don't know how much that really applies. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about all the tours he did real quickly, and I'm going to highlight for you, for somebody who looked at his career, because Todd and I don't have a lot in common. Okay, so I'm a logistics type guy. I'm an aviator. He's a fires lead right now. He's a surface warfare officer. So I can take a look at his career from kind of a different perspective, and I can tell you what just jumps off the page at me. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to talk about what's amazing about what he's done and why that applies to all of us. So I entered the Navy in July 1989. Incidentally, the same month I entered the Navy, if you count me going to the Naval Academy. So that puts it in perspective for you. His first tour was aboard the USS CHOSIN. That's where you are right now. And we're going to get to this, and I'm going to highlight that as one of the really key points in his career because he's a plank owner of this ship. Unbelievable honor. One of the coolest traditional type things we have in the Navy to be a plank owner, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But that's just a highlight of his career that we want to talk about. His next shore duty, and by the way, he was an STG. He's a sonar technician. He then went to shore duty as an acoustic analyst instructor for a float training group, Middle Pacific. Then he came to the USS Russell as a lead sonar tech. He was an STG-1 for that tour. And I'm going to highlight my second key point about his career, where he finished his degree. Okay, so I went to college, and what I did every day that I went to college is I went to college. And in the morning I went to college, in the afternoon I went to college, at night I was still going to college. So what Todd did was he got his degree while he was on sea duty in the Navy. Correct? So anybody who's wearing a uniform, who's been on sea duty in the Navy and understands what we do and how we do it, that's a highlight of Todd's career. That's a testament to the kind of person that he is. So I just want to highlight that. He went to OCS in November of 2000 where he received his commission. Okay, now this is a highlight in his career because he received his commission, obviously. But I'm going to tell you what, from my perspective, it is. I've been in the Navy more than 20 years. I've had command. I've been an OIC of a permanently deployed detachment. So I think I understand a little bit about leadership. But I'll tell you this. There's an element of leadership that comes from being prior enlisted that you can't repeat. You don't get it by sticking around for a long time. You don't get it by being somebody like me. You get it by going and doing that. And that's what Todd has done. So I'm going to highlight that as an incredible part of his career and what makes him part of who he is and why he is so good and why his career is so impressive. His first officer tour was back here in Hawaii at the USS O'Kane, followed by a tour in Destroyer Squadron 31. And then he reported as the Combat Systems and Weapons Officer aboard the USS Hamilton. I'm going to highlight this again as a key tour because that's a tactical level tour. That's where he built his tactical level experience that he uses, that we watch him use every day. That he has turned into something that's much bigger than a single ship at the tactical level, but he's turned into something that affects the entire Pacific Fleet. So then he was an IA in UCOM, and then he reported to PAC Fleet as the Tomahawk officer and the dynamic fire chief. And that's how I know him today. That's how I have dealt with Todd. So I'll tell you about what he does now. So we went in a period of transition. It wasn't really for me because I showed up and it had already started. So it's been business for me. But our period of transition in the fires lane has been to stand up the maritime fire cell. Okay, it's a new concept, and I'm not going to go into all the details, but it's a new concept for the Navy. It's a new way of doing business. It's new responsibilities. It requires hiring new people. It requires understanding things from the very lowest tactical level, and I'm talking about how we're going to put some piece of ordnance on target, all the way up to the highest level of how that decision gets made at the highest tiers. And he is right in the middle of that, and he's designed it. Okay, so he's taken that experience that he's done throughout his career, and he's ended with that. And guess what else he's going to do? He just got hired to go keep doing it as a civilian. So we got a theme here. We've got somebody who spent their life doing something, and they're going to keep spending their life doing something because it's bigger than themselves. I saw the hiring package. It's not for the money. Okay, that's not why he's doing it. He's doing it because that's what he does. So I want to highlight that about his career. Okay, so what do we got? We got an enlisted man, right? First ship, he's a plank holder. Finished college degree while on sea duty. I can't put enough of one on that. Tactical level to me in all Aegis systems and combat systems. Turned that experience into cutting-edge developments across the entire Pacific Fleet and decided to keep serving in that same capacity for arguably a long, long time. I don't see any evidence here that you're planning on leaving Hawaii. But, so incredible. So let's talk about a little bit about his personal life. So I fished around a little bit for some stories about him. And what I came up with was he's an incredible father and he's an incredible husband. And look at that. I mean, Zach I didn't coach it. He's shaking his head up and down like crazy. So this guy, he's dedicated, what is drumming, taekwondo, doesn't matter what it is. Todd is dedicated to that all the time. That's what he does. I've seen the Star Wars picture in his office, so I know you're into the same movies he is, and I've heard a little bit about that, so that's a pretty cool picture. You do not make a good-looking Han Solo, I'm sorry. A little rough, but Todd will do anything for people, okay? So I got a couple of stories about friends having problems with cancer in their families. My mother passed away from cancer. I understand what that does to a family. What's Todd do? Mows their grass indefinitely, takes care of them, does things for them, doesn't need to be asked. That's the kind of person he is. I also got a story about how he loves whiskey. But he makes horrible mixed drinks, apparently. That's what I was told. Now, I think this kind of falls back to the Fires thing. Fires guys are kind of one-trick ponies. They don't do a whole lot of complicated stuff. So I think that's sort of in line with where we are here. He can pour a single gram of whiskey, but if you got to add a second ingredient, it's going to throw him off a little bit. So we'll hold on that. So what's my point about all this? Why am I telling you all this about Todd and who he is? It's what he has done, and what you're looking at today is something to be proud of. Okay, that's for his whole family. Okay, that's for you. That's something you need to be proud of. It's something to learn from. Okay, it's something to learn from. I learned something from it, looking at it. Okay, I learned that there's a lot you can do if you put your mind to it. You know, I'm a busy guy. I've blown off doing some things I thought I was going to do during this tour, but I looked at Todd's career and I said, I'm not busy I'm not sea-duty busy. There's something to learn from, and it's something to aspire to. Okay, that's what we've seen. It's something to aspire to. All right, so I want to draw this whole thing as I conclude back to one thing, okay? Where did Todd start his naval career? He's a plank holder, right? Plank holder. So let's talk about what that is. I'm doing a retirement speech, so I'm obligated to use some kind of search engine on the internet to find some quotes, so here's what I do. I use Google, found a lot of different sources of what a plank holder is called. As with many of our traditions, it is not formally laid out in our regulations. So I went to Urban Dictionary, like anybody would, right? Urban Dictionary, I looked at Wikipedia, several other really, really reliable sources, but interestingly, they all had the same definition pretty much. So I'm going to read that definition to you now. A plank holder is an individual who was a member of the crew of a United States Navy ship when that ship was placed in commission. The origin of the term is the implication that a crew member was around when that ship was being built and commissioned, and therefore has bragging rights to the ownership of one of the planks in the main deck. So that's what plank holder means. Now, obviously, you can look around, and we don't know how planks we're going to be able to pull out of here and hand him. But that's what it is. That's the Navy tradition that's behind it. So I did a little bit more research because I want to kind of find out from somebody other than Todd, what does it mean to be a plank holder? What does that mean to you in your career? So we can put some context to this. Master Chief Electronics Technician Randall Reed. He was a part of the commissioning crew for the USS Minnesota. And this is what he had to say. Few things I've ever experienced in my Navy career are both as challenging and rewarding as being a part of a commissioning crew. You are putting into motion something that is totally new to the Navy, and that motion will still be here long after you are gone. I think this is really a metaphor for Todd's incredible career as he retires aboard this ship where he is a plank holder. He started his career standing out something out of nothing. And everybody who's in the Navy understands what that means. You report to a command, you get a turnover, right? Doesn't matter which level you are, you come somewhere new, it's a turnover. They show you how business gets done there. Well, he helped create the business. He improved his career and himself throughout by putting extraordinary efforts in. And I'll highlight again that college degree he earned while he was on sea duty. He served his country throughout and still managed to be the incredible father and friend and husband that I described to you in this speech. He ended his naval career by spearheading new concepts and standing up something completely new at PAC Fleet that will last far longer than he will last. Just like being a plank owner on a ship. So really what we're looking at is the career of a guy, and I think anybody who retires from the Navy gets to say this. You're somewhat of a plank holder. If you get to 26 years, you're somewhat of a plank holder of the Navy. And what does that mean to us? Well, we believe in our country. We believe in what we do. We believe in who we are. And Todd and guys like us, and Todd is the example you see today, made a choice that lasts forever to do more about that than talk about it. So that's what you've got in your retirement ceremony today, and that's what you've got in Todd. As I said, it's something to be proud of. Zach, it's something to aspire to. For sailors out there that are young, it's something to look at and want to be. So with that, let's congratulate Todd.
Thank you, Captain Hammond, for those kind words. Captain Hammond now requests Lieutenant Commander Charles to join him to be recognized. Attention to award. The President of the United States takes pleasure in presenting the Meritorious Service Medal to Lieutenant Commander Todd W. Charles, United States Navy, for service as set forth in the following citations. For outstanding meritorious service as Deputy Maritime Fire Cell Lead, Maritime Operations Center, and Theater Joint Force Maritime Component Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet from 25 July 2012 to 01 August 2015. Lieutenant Commander Charles' professionalism directly supported U.S. Pacific Fleet's full operational capability and fight-tonight readiness. His extensive expertise in maritime fires, maritime dynamic targeting, and Tomahawk land attack cruise missile execution were instrumental in standing up the Cornerstone Maritime Fire Cell coordinating two numbered fleet maneuver units in support of the pivot to Pacific. His innovative and inspirational leadership laid the foundation for maritime fire cell training, manning, and readiness now considered the model by U.S. Fleet Forces Command. He spearheaded critical integration efforts on lethal and non-lethal effects of fires and targeting across higher, adjacent, and subordinate commands in support of the United States Pacific Command's major operational plans. Additionally, as Tomahawk Executive Agent Officer, responsible for the daily global force management of over 1,200 Tomahawks on 65 combatants, he directly supported fight-tonight readiness with the oversight of 6 Tomahawk flight tests, 36 Texas Thunder and Fortress Raptor exercises, and the restructure of Tomahawk Command and Control, the operationalization of U.S. PACOM. His superior performance of duty during this tour was the hallmark of a career devoted to accomplishing broad and diverse tasks, which highlighted the culmination of 26 years of honorable and dedicated naval service. By his exceptional professional ability, personal initiative, and total dedication to duty, Lieutenant Commander Charles reflected great credit upon himself and upheld the high traditions of the United States Naval Service. For the President, R.P. Guerrier, Rear Admiral, U.S. Navy, Deputy Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet. Will the guests please be seated? Those of us who know Todd and what he has accomplished during his career also know he cannot take credit for his accomplishments without first acknowledging those who have supported him throughout the years. Lieutenant Commander Charles' wife Denise, son Zachary, and sisters Lorraine, Lee, and Carol will join him at center stage. Captain Hammond will now present Denise and Zachary with certificates of appreciation. Denise's certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy to all who shall see these presents greetings. To Mrs. Denise A. Charles. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for your unselfish, patriotic, and devoted service during your husband's military career. Your unfailing support and understanding helped immeasurably to make possible his lasting contribution to the nation. To those who say a single man cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your husband did. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation. Service to the Navy now complete, you will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks you, and I thank you. Given this 15th day of May 2015, Admiral Harry B. Harris, Jr., Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet. The Zachary certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy to all who shall see these present greetings. To Zachary A. Charles. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the frequent and long separations from your father as he served his country. These months, indeed years, that he spent away from you constitute a clear and noble demonstration of his love for you and his family. You see, he left you in order to ensure that you inherited a safer world, a surer peace. To those who say a single man cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your father did. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation safe. With his service to the Navy now complete, he will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks both you and your father for enduring these separations. Given this 15th day of May 2015, Admiral Harry B. Harris, Jr., Commander, United States Pacific Fleet. Now will Lieutenant Commander Charles' father, Lester, and sisters Chris and Joy please key your mic at face time. All right, great. Sorry, the Air Force is trying to mess with our... Oh, I didn't know we had a flyby set up. Well done. Well done, Air Force. Okay. To those of you in New Hampshire, thank you for attending today. Captain Hammond will now present Lester with a certificate of appreciation, followed by certificates for Lieutenant Commander Charles' sisters Carol, Chris, Lee, Lorraine, and Joyce. Lester's certificate reads as follows. Certificate of Appreciation from the United States Navy. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. To Lester D. Charles. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the frequent and long separations from your son as he served his country. These months, indeed years, that he spent away from you constitute a clear and noble demonstration of his love for you and his family. He left in order to ensure that the world was safer and had a sure peace. To those who say a single person cannot make a difference, I say wrong. Your son did. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation safe. With his service to the Navy now complete, he will be able to spend more time with you in the future. United States Navy thanks both you and your son for enduring your separations and for your service. Given this 15th day of May 2015, Admiral Harry B. Harris, Jr., Commander U.S. Pacific Fleet. Carol, Chris, Carol, Chris, Lee, Lorraine, and Joyce's certificates read as follows. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. To Miss Carol Axelrod, Christine Saunders, Lee Murphy, Lorraine Hill, and Joyce Germander. By the authority vested in me, it is my pleasure to express the grateful appreciation of the United States Navy to you for enduring the frequent and long separations from your brother as he served his country. These years that he spent away from you constitute a clear and noble demonstration of his love for you and for the rest of the family. You see, he left to ensure a safer world and a surer peace. To those saying a single man cannot make a difference, I say they are wrong. Your brother did, and did it with professionalism. He made our Navy stronger and kept our nation safe. With the service to the Navy now complete, he will be able to spend more time with you in the future. The United States Navy thanks all of you and your brother for enduring these separations and making our world safer. Given this 15th day of May 2015, Admiral Harry B. Harris, Jr., Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet. Warrant Officer Matthews will now present Lieutenant Commander Charles with his U.S. flag and certificate. Flag detail. Post.
Flag detail. Left. Base. Forward. March. Flag detail. About base.
This United States flag was flown above the Arizona Memorial on the 26th day of March 2015 to honor Lieutenant Commander Charles' 26 years of honorable and faithful service in the United States Navy. I am the flag of the United States of America. My name is Old Glory. I fly atop the world's tallest buildings. I stand watch in America's halls of justice. I fly majestically over great institutions of learning. I stand guard with the greatest military power in the world. Look up and see me. I stand for peace, honor, truth, and justice. I stand for freedom. I am confident I am arrogant. I am proud. When I'm flown with my fellow banners, my head is held a little higher. My colors are a little truer. I bow to no one. I am recognized all over the world. I am worshipped. I am saluted. I am respected. I am revered. I am loved. And I am feared. For more than 200 years, I have fought in every battle of every war. Gettysburg, Shiloh, Appomattox, San Juan Hill, the trenches of France, the Argonne Forest, Anzio, Rome, the beaches of Normandy, the jungles of Guam, Okinawa, Tarawa, and in the CHOSIN Reservoir, in Vietnam, and in the heat of the Persian Gulf, and a score of other places. Long forgotten by all but those who were there with me. I was there. I led my sailors and Marines. I followed them. I watched over them. They loved me. I was on a small hill on Iwo Jima. I was dirty, battle-worn, torn and tired, but my sailors and Marines cheered me. I was proud. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of countries that I helped to set free. It does not hurt, for I am invincible. I have been soiled, burned, torn, and trampled on the streets of my own country. And when it is done by those with whom I have served in battle, it hurts. But I shall overcome, for I am strong. I have slipped the bounds of earth, and from my vantage point on the moon, I stand watch over the new frontiers of space. I have been the silent witness to all of America's finest hours. But my finest hour comes when I am torn into strips to be used as bandages for my wounded comrades on the field of battle. When I fly half-mast to honor my sailors and Marines, and when I lie in the trembling arms of a grieving mother. At the graveside of her fallen son or daughter, I am proud. My name is Old Glory. Long may I wave. Dear God, long may I wave. Flag detail. Dismissed.
Flag detail, about base. Forward, march.
Lieutenant Commander Charles is also presented with a lithograph depicting the Battle of Midway. The matting of the lithograph has been signed by the officers of the Future Operations Directorate at PAC Fleet. Ladies and gentlemen, it is now my pleasure to introduce to you Lieutenant Commander Todd Charles.
Everybody hear me? Hey, Dad, Chris, can you hear me? Hang on. Okay, great. It's been a lot of time, getting this the speech ready and preparing and thinking I was going to go ahead and thank all the different people in the audience and different people back home, different people who have made huge impressions in my life. And then I started, it wanted to be about 8-10 pages long worth of a speech, and I realized that, well, there's everybody here, if you're here, that means you meant enough of me to be here. And I certainly appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you're here and burning in the hot sun. The shade's working just great for me, so we're good there. So I'm going to make this very, very brief. Those of you who came from the mainland, God bless you. Thank you so much. My sisters, of course, coming, that means so much. Captain Brand, it takes us back to those days that we were sharing a stateroom on the O'Kane and all those great talks that you had, and you were such great mentors for me, and I certainly appreciate that. Captain Hammond, all those wonderful times in the office that you let me know that I was wrong. I certainly appreciate that too. There's one person I want to call out in this audience, and without her, I wouldn't be who I am. You've taken the time to make sure that I was right, and you've taken the time to give me those course directions I needed to keep my career on path and do what I needed to do. And I certainly love you, and I appreciate you and everything you've done for today and all of my life. Zachary, and I love you too. and he's part of that. So. That said, I was talking to her, and I was talking to myself too, and we were deciding, you know, what I was gonna have to do to in case I wanted to, you know, stay in the Navy or whatever. And part of it was she told me I would have to simulate being at sea for a little while. So I don't know if anybody in this audience has heard this before. It's a lengthy list of 38 items, so it should only take me about 45 minutes to go through all of them. And so I hope we're liking that. I'm only going to highlight a few things in here, but it's going to be simulating a naval sailor at sea, and I hope you enjoy it. First of all, I'm going to lock all my friends and family outside, and the only means of communication will be letters that are at least 3 weeks old, so we'll make sure we do that. I will surround myself with 200 people I don't really know, don't really like, people who smoke and snore like Mack trucks and use all kinds of foul language, and use all the sugar for cereal. I'll also make sure that I unplug all TVs and any types of communication off the ship, and have my neighbor provide me with a newspaper that's at least a month old, and that's what I'll get for current events. These are the kinds of things that actually rang absolutely true when the ship was first commissioned. You didn't get a lot of stuff from the outside world as soon as you pulled up from the pier. Nowadays we have all kinds of internet and things like that, so it's actually pretty nice. I'm going to work in 19-hour cycles, and I'm going to offset it so I don't sleep the same time every day, and then I'm just basically going to walk around like a zombie. That's very important. I'm going to have week-old fruit delivered to my garage, and then I'm going to let it sit there for 2 weeks before I eat it. I'll prepare all meals home, and Denise is going to love this, blindfolded, and I'm either going to use all the spice that I have or none of the spice that I have. I'm periodically going to shut off all the power and run around the house yelling fire. Study the owner's manual for all appliances and routinely take them apart and put them back together again. I'll smash my forehead with a hammer and my shins with a hammer to simulate being on board shipboard life with all the knee knockers. I'll keep the bedroom thermostat at 28 degrees Fahrenheit and use only a thin blanket to keep warm. I'll ensure the water heater is connected to a device that either provides 32 degrees or 205 degrees water randomly. I'll make sure to do that. I'm going to hang Christmas lights in June, and when a neighbor inquires, I'm going to say it's deceptive lighting. And I'm going to hang white lights when relatives visit, and we're going to call that friendship lights. And last but not least, I'm going to remind myself every day it's not just a job, it's an adventure. Thank you so much for coming, and thank you for the kind words. And thanks for being on FaceTime. Dad, we miss you. We love you. Same thing with you, Chris. And I think that's it.
Commander Charles, please return to the podium.
Apparently I didn't read the script I have right. I will now read my orders. From the Commander of the Personnel Command to Lieutenant Commander Todd Charles. Subject, Pupil Orders Number 0355. When directed from the reporting senior, detached 15 May 2015 from the Commander, U.S. Pacific Fleet, and proceed to the home selection.
And Captain Hammond and Commander Charles, will you please proceed to the front. Captain Hammond takes pleasure in presenting Lieutenant Commander Charles with his certificate of retirement. Attention to certificate. Certificate of retirement from the Armed Forces of the United States. To all who shall see these presents, greetings. This is certified that Lieutenant Commander Todd W. Charles, United States Navy, having served faithfully and honorably, was retired from the United States Navy on the 15th day of May, 2015. Signed, Scott R. Van Buskirk, Vice Admiral, United States Navy, Chief of Naval Personnel. Lieutenant Sky Thompson will now present a commemorative gift from the Theater Jifmic Fires. Put it down, Lieutenant, put it down. And now Chaplain Gary will give the benediction.
Let us pray. Gracious God, we thank you for Lieutenant Commander Todd Charles and his contributions to the Navy and to our nation. We are most grateful for his faithful service and the many personal sacrifices he and his family have made to protect and enhance the lives of others. We bid him fair winds and following seas. Now may the Lord bless us and keep us. May he cause his face to shine upon us and be gracious to us. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon us and give us peace. In his most holy name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes our ceremony. Lieutenant Commander Charles and Denise invite all of you to join them at the original Tiki Bar, La Mariana Sailing Club, for the reception. Thank you all for joining us today and have a fine Navy Day. We were also invited to have lunch aboard the War Dragon today.
All folks in military uniform stand by. I have brass skirts for a group picture.
Brass skirts, all right.